Far beyond the outer colonies of human space, where the stars were scattered like distant sparks and the silence of the void felt endless, a massive alien fleet drifted through the dark. The fleet belonged to the Zereth Dominion, a powerful alien empire that had conquered dozens of star systems over thousands of years. The Zereth were known across the galaxy for their advanced technology and overwhelming military power. Their warships were enormous, cities of metal and energy capable of destroying planets if necessary. For centuries, no civilization had dared challenge them. But humanity had. The conflict between humans and the Zereth Dominion had begun only 5 years earlier. Humans were still considered a young species by galactic standards, having discovered faster-than-light travel barely 2 centuries ago. Most alien civilizations believed humans were too inexperienced to survive the brutal politics of the galaxy. Yet the war had surprised everyone. Human fleets were smaller and less advanced in many ways, but they were unpredictable. They fought with strange strategies, unconventional technology, and a stubborn determination that confused their enemies. Still, despite several victories, humanity was losing ground. And now the Zereth had arrived at Epsilon 9, a remote star system containing one of humanity's most important shipyards. If Epsilon 9 fell, the human defensive line would collapse. Inside the flagship of the Zereth fleet, Admiral Cracksthull studied the holographic battlefield display with quiet confidence. Hundreds of Zereth warships surrounded the system like a tightening net. But the display showed something strange. Only one human ship had arrived to defend the shipyard. A small, dark vessel drifted silently near the edge of the system. The alien officers in the command chamber began laughing. "Is this a mistake?" one officer asked. Another hissed in amusement. "Perhaps the humans believe a single ship can stop an invasion fleet." Admiral Cracksthull leaned closer to the display. The ship was unusual. It emitted almost no energy signatures. No weapons were visible. No shield readings appeared. It was simply there, floating silently. "Scan it again," Cracksthull ordered. The sensors ran multiple analyses. The results were strange. The ship appeared to be powered down almost completely. No active engines. No weapon charging. No communications. It was as if the ship were dead. The Zereth officers laughed even harder. "A broken vessel?" one said. "Perhaps the humans sent a ghost ship as a joke." Another officer suggested, "Destroy it immediately, Admiral. It may be a trap." But Cracksthull was amused. "No," he replied calmly. "Let the humans witness our mercy." He turned to the fleet. "Send a message." Moments later, a transmission echoed through the silent human ship. "Unknown human vessel," the Zereth message said. "You face the full might of the Zereth Dominion. Power down and surrender. Your resistance is meaningless." No response came. The human ship remained silent. Minutes passed. Still nothing. The alien officers began mocking the strange vessel openly. "Perhaps the crew has abandoned it. Or maybe humans are too afraid to answer." Admiral Cracksthull finally sighed. "Enough. Destroy it." A Zereth destroyer moved forward, its massive plasma cannons charging with a low hum. The glowing energy built quickly. Then it fired. A beam of blinding plasma shot across space and slammed directly into the silent human ship. The explosion lit the darkness like a miniature sun. Debris scattered in every direction. Inside the alien command chamber, the officers laughed again. But then the sensors reported something unexpected. "Admiral, the ship still exists." The laughter stopped instantly. "What?" Cracksthull demanded. The holographic display stabilized. The human ship floated exactly where it had been before. Completely intact. Not even a scratch. No shields had appeared. No defensive systems had activated. The attack simply had no effect. Confusion spread across the alien bridge. "That is impossible," one officer said. "Perhaps our sensors malfunctioned." Cracksthull's voice hardened. "Fire again." This time 3 destroyers unleashed simultaneous plasma barrages. The beam struck the ship directly. The explosion was enormous. For a moment the human vessel disappeared inside a cloud of fire and light. When the explosion faded, The ship was still there, untouched. Now the alien officers were no longer laughing. "Admiral," the sensor operator said slowly, "our scans show no shield field." "Then how did it survive?" No one had an answer. Admiral Crackstall's confidence began to fade. "Launch fighters," he ordered. Dozens of Zereth fighters raced toward the mysterious ship. Missiles launched. Laser cannons fired continuously. The tiny human vessel was bombarded from every direction. Yet the result was the same. Every attack simply vanished. Energy weapons struck the hull and disappeared. Missiles exploded but caused no damage. The human ship did not even move. It remained silent. Watching. Waiting. One of the alien officers whispered nervously, "Admiral, perhaps we should withdraw and analyze this technology." Crackstall refused. "No. Nothing in this galaxy can withstand unlimited firepower." He ordered the entire fleet to attack. Hundreds of Zereth warships charged their weapons simultaneously. The energy output was enough to vaporize a planet. Then they fired. The void exploded with light. For several seconds the human ship vanished completely within the storm of energy. Even the alien sensors were overwhelmed. When the light finally faded, the ship remained, perfectly intact, still silent. Now fear began creeping through the Zereth command chamber. One officer whispered, "Admiral, it has not fired a single weapon." Crackstall stared at the display. "Yes," he said quietly, "and that is what worries me." At that moment something changed. For the first time since the battle began, the human ship activated. A faint pulse of energy rippled outward. Not an attack. Not a shield. Something else. The Zereth sensors went wild. "Admiral," the operator shouted, "we are detecting a massive gravitational distortion." The holographic display shifted. Space around the human ship began bending. Not metaphorically. Literally bending. Stars behind the vessel stretched and twisted like reflections in water. The alien officers stared in horror. "What is that?" someone asked. The answer came seconds later. The human ship transmitted a message. For the first time, a calm human voice echoed through the Zereth fleet. "This is human warship Aegis 01. You were warned." Admiral Crackstall clenched his claws. "Explain what you have done to our weapons." The voice responded calmly. "You are not attacking our hull. You are attacking the space around it." Silence filled the alien command chamber. The voice continued. "Aegis 01 does not use shields. It uses space-time redirection. Every attack you launched was diverted into another dimension." Shock spread through the Zereth officers. Another dimension? That level of technology was believed to be impossible. But the human voice had not finished. "You wondered why we sent only one ship." The alien sensors suddenly screamed warnings. "Admiral," the operator shouted, "the gravitational distortion is increasing rapidly." The human voice spoke again. "Aegis 01 is not a warship. It is a dimensional containment vessel." Admiral Crackstall felt cold dread. Containment? For what? For several seconds the human voice remained silent. Then it answered. "For something your species has never encountered." The space around the ship twisted violently. The distortion expanded outward like a growing storm. Stars warped. Light bent. Reality itself seemed to tear open. The Zereth fleet began panicking. Ships attempted to retreat. But it was too late. The human voice spoke one final time. "For 70 years humanity has been studying a species that exists outside our dimension. We captured one. And we built Aegis 01 to contain it." A deep, impossible sound echoed across the void. Not through speakers. Through space itself. Something enormous began emerging from the distortion. It was not a ship. It was not a creature in the normal sense. It was a dimensional predator. A being so massive and alien that the mind struggled to comprehend it. Its body appeared as shifting shadows and impossible shapes. Its presence bent gravity. Ships closest to the distortion were crushed instantly. The Zereth fleet erupted into chaos. "Retreat!" Crackstall screamed. But escape was impossible. The creature moved through space like a living storm. Warships were swallowed whole. Others were torn apart by gravitational forces. The Zereth weapons fired wildly, but nothing slowed the entity. The human voice transmitted again. "This is why we tried to warn you. You attacked the only ship keeping it contained." Within minutes the massive Zereth fleet had been reduced to scattered debris. The creature fed on the destruction, absorbing energy from the explosions. Finally, when nothing remained of the invading fleet, the distortion began shrinking again. The entity was slowly pulled back toward the containment vessel. The human ship activated its systems fully now. Gigantic rings of energy formed around the distortion. The creature resisted, twisting violently. But the containment field held. Slowly, painfully, the dimensional predator was dragged back into its prison. The distortion collapsed. Space returned to normal. Silence filled the star system once again. The battlefield was empty. Hundreds of Zereth warships were gone. Destroyed by something far worse than human technology. Inside the human ship, Commander Elena Reyes finally exhaled. "That was too close," one officer said. Reyes nodded. If the containment field had failed completely. He didn't finish the sentence. They all knew what would have happened. The creature would have escaped permanently. Not just into this star system. Into the entire galaxy. Human command transmitted a message moments later. "Status report, Aegis 01. Commander Reyes replied calmly. "Containment restored. Enemy fleet eliminated." There was a pause. Then command asked the question everyone feared. "And the entity?" Reyes looked at the containment monitors. Deep inside the dimensional prison, the creature moved slowly, patiently. "Waiting. Still contained," she answered. "But it's learning." Back in the distant territories of the Zereth Dominion, news of the disaster spread rapidly. An entire invasion fleet had vanished. Destroyed by a single human ship. A ship that was not even a weapon, but a prison. From that day forward, alien civilizations across the galaxy began telling a new story. A warning whispered in starports and military academies. If you ever encounter a silent human warship drifting alone in space, do not mock it. Do not attack it. Because it might not be a warship at all. It might be the only thing keeping something far worse from escaping into the galaxy.